Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. In our first episode yesterday, we talked about how to set up our development environment, how to get started with our first development environment called Web IDE, both with the personal edition and the Web IDE full stack. With that, I assume all of us will have now the SAP Web IDE environment running in our system. And now let's start with introduction of HTML and HTML5. This is the first phase which is starting now of our course. As you remember, the four phases which we talked about: the foundation, the framework, Fiori, and OData. So these are all the four phases we will be completing our course into. It is a starting of the phase 1, foundation for UI5. Majority of you are coming from non-UI5 background, have no clue about HTML, CSS and all, which is fine. As I promised, we'll start with foundation first. So let's start. What is HTML? A very popular markup language. And how can we use HTML? What is the purpose? What is the design? What is the syntax? Let's talk all of that about HTML, and especially also the HTML5. So the next question comes is, what is the difference between HTML and HTML5? That's the next question which we will also be looking at. This is a very popular interview question, the difference between HTML and HTML5, and also the difference between HTML5 and UI5. Yes. All the interview questions I will also be covering throughout this course, which will help you to crack any interview on this planet. Let's go back. Start with HTML. HTML stands for hypertext markup language. It is used to design static web content. It is not a programming language. It is not a programming language. Rather, as you can see, it's a markup language. Okay. It is a markup. So markup language is not a programming language. Okay. What does it mean? Markup means what you write is what you get. That's what the markup is meaning, right? So it does not behave, it doesn't have kind of a runtime behavior like other programming language. For other programming language, you can say A plus B. So this A plus B has a meaning for programming language. It will do a total. It is having processing power, but HTML does not have that processing engine or power. It is mainly, that's why we say it is used to design static web content. Static means fixed. It's fixed. What you write is what you get. Now, when it comes to HTML, there's a little bit of history of HTML. When this world of .com bubble started, that's when the HTML has emerged actually beautifully. So in what year, what version of HTML was released? Let's talk about that. The first version of HTML was released in 1991. Then HTML 2.0 have come in 1993. Then HTML 3.0 was released in 1995. Then we have got XHTML in the middle, which was somewhere around 1999. Then we have got HTML 4.0, which was in 2010. And finally, we got HTML5 in the world in 2014. Now, this history will clearly tell you that HTML5 is nothing but a latest version of HTML. Everybody, please answer in chat window, guys. You want to get best out of Anubhav, you can contribute to the session by answering in chat window. This gives me motivation, and this will allow me to bring you more and more. You will extract out best out of Anubhav if you answer in chat window. Is this clear, guys? HTML5 is just the latest version of HTML. I hope you're clear. Please answer in chat window. This gives me motivation and it will let me go forward more and I can get you more. All right. Thank you. So now let's write the first difference coming on our screen. When somebody in interview asks you what is difference between HTML and HTML5, the very first answer from your end will be HTML5 is just the latest version of HTML, released in 2014. Almost like new one, right? Now the question comes, what is so beneficial in HTML5 as compared to HTML? We want to find out more differences. We'll do that, of course. But before we do that, let's also come back and understand some of the fundamentals of HTML. When you working with HTML, what are the fundamentals on the principles it is based on? The very first fundamental, as I already showed, HTML is not a programming language. And it is a markup which follow below syntax. So we have a syntax for this markup, how it follows. Okay, that's a syntax for the markup. We have it for HTML. Okay, what is the syntax for HTML? Let's write down that syntax over here. The syntax for HTML, let me make my font size bigger. It starts with something called tag name, with something called then a property equals to, you can have property value, space another property equals to, you can have property value 2, like that, and end of this tag, and then also you will have end of entire tag. This is the syntax for HTML. Any HTML markup you want to put, this is the syntax we will be following. Everybody, I hope this is clear. What will be the syntax of writing your HTML? Now the question comes, Anubhav, these tags are good, fine, but what do you think? Who released this tag? How do I know? How do I know that this is the tag I have to use? So there is an organization called World Wide Web Consortium. Is the organization which is responsible for the versions and development of HTML itself. Guess what? All the browsers are part of this organization. Yes, all the browsers are part of this organization. Your Google Chrome, your Safari, Mozilla, Firefox, yeah, your Internet Explorer, Edge, all of these are part of this organization. They all make this together. That's the reason you can see every browser understand HTML. Is that clear, guys? What is that organization who's responsible for bringing you the version of HTML? Which is that organization? W3C, World Wide Web Consortium. Everybody, are you clear? Who's W3C? This is the guy who's responsible for bringing you the HTML versions into the market, and all the browsers are also in line, aligned with it. So that's the reason. The coming to the third very important point, all the browsers, or I would put not as a point, I would put it as a funda fox. What is funda fox? Funda fox is something which is a word which I've invented during college days. This is something when you read in a book, in that particular topic, you find something very interesting. Now, if a question is going to come in exam, you have to write that crux. You have to write that particular statement line in the exam, so that examination who is checking your copy will get to know that you have done it, right. So this is the most important statement or set of statements under the topic. If you forget this statement, it is going to be tough for you. So I always say funda fox is from where most of the certification questions will come. Funda fox is the place where most of the interview questions will come. Funda fox is something which you should never, ever, ever, ever forget when you are proceeding with the training. So the first funda fox coming on your screen: browsers understand HTML directly. You don't need a compiler. You don't need an interpreter. You don't need anything else to make browser understand HTML. Browser automatically, all of them understand HTML directly. If you give an HTML to browser directly, it will understand. It won't understand C, it won't understand Java, it won't understand Python, it won't understand ABAP, it won't understand C++, it won't understand any programming language. Browser only and only understand HTML directly. I hope you will remember this funda fox. Very, very important. I'll show you a glimpse of it in a system in a moment. Now, W3C is the organization which is responsible for the development of the HTML version. All the browser vendors are part of it. Now, that's also just wanted to show you another syntax of doing same thing on the top. So tag name, you can also write like this: property equals to value. And then you can end the tag like this. This is also possible. Rather than writing an end tag separately, you can end the tag like this. Clear, everybody? Now, since W3C is the guy who's responsible for releasing the versions of HTML, they will also provide you documentation. Okay. So now if I want to know what are all the tag names which are supported by HTML, I can straight away go to my browser and type W3C schools. Just search that. And you will find a beautiful website from W3C. And you see HTML5 tutorial. Click on this. This is where you can now go and read about HTML and its tag name for free. Yes, guys, for free. This is where you can read about HTML, everything about HTML for free. This is the place where I read HTML. I learned HTML actually. Now, the main thing here need to understand, guys, though it's fine, you can learn this, but it is sufficient. My training next 2 days we'll be learning HTML. It is sufficient enough to learn whatever I'm teaching. That much is enough. That much is enough to become a UI5 developer. You don't need to go and read everything. No, not needed. Yet, if you want documentation, you can go anyway here and check. But whatever I cover in this class, in this course, it is more than enough. It is more than enough, guys, for this training. You don't need to read this material at all. But if you want, it's your choice. You can go and read it. Okay. Coming back. So that was about writing HTML. Every HTML page is also known as HTML document, and it starts with doc type declaration. This is the next important point, how HTML page starts with. Every HTML page has header and body tag. Header is the brain of HTML, where we put the metadata information, like who is this, who developed this app, this web page, who is responsible, what is the purpose, etc. All this information is kept in the metadata. And then comes the body. Body is what will end users see. Okay, so these are some basic rules of the game when you are building HTML. Remember, browsers understand HTML directly. Let's get into the system and create our first HTML. As I mentioned, browser directly understand HTML. What you can also do, you start with a notepad. Yes, you can start with a notepad. I can write an HTML over here. So you see this HTML document I'm starting with. And then I can just add a header and body. Yeah. And in the body, I can say, welcome HTML5. Yeah. And I will save this file in my computer, somewhere in my computer with a .html extension. So let me press save button and I'll save it in AOH code folder. And let me just do this on AOH code folder actually. So I'll just go and save this as anubhav.html. I saved it, yeah. .html extension. I just close this and I straight away jump to that folder in my computer, AOH code folder, and you see here this anubhav.html. I just simply double click. What I put was tags, but what I get is welcome to HTML5. See here, guys. I'm not seeing those tags actually, because those tags clearly indicates browser what is it. What is that I put? All right. So you don't see those tags here because browser understand HTML directly. It understand what you have written, what are the meaning of those tags. It understand directly. So you can code in a notepad also, doesn't matter. But the right way of doing things is using Web IDE. Okay, we will be using Web IDE. Now coming to the another difference between HTML and HTML5. With HTML5 is more liberal in nature. What does it mean? Liberal means it's easy going, yeah? It's easy going. Sometimes you find a tough teacher, sometimes you find a tough manager, and sometimes you find an easy manager, right? So HTML5 is an easy manager. It's a liberal in nature. In nature, it means when we write, used to make mistakes. In old HTML, the whole page loading gets interrupted. The whole page loading gets interrupted. Okay. But with HTML5 doesn't happen. HTML5 is more liberal in nature. Also, we can skip the doc type declaration. Yes, it's possible to skip the doc type declaration. This is also possible. You can skip it actually in HTML5. However, you can also write it. We will discuss also. That's another difference. In old HTML, the doc type declaration looks like exclamation doc type XHTML version equals to 4.0 xdnd underscore schema equals to dxhtml 4.0, something like this. A little complex one in older version of HTML. But with HTML5, this was simplified with simply exclamation doc type HTML. That's it. This is what you write on the top, and that declares that the below document is an HTML. So it will tell the browser, this declaration will tell the browser, hey browser, the below written code is an HTML code. That's what the meaning of doc type. The below written code is an HTML HTML code browser. Please note that browser, the whatever I'm going to write next is going to be an HTML code browser. That's what we're telling with doc type to the browser. All right, let's come back. Now I'm going to switch to another, or maybe we're going to use the same one. So yesterday we started with this welcome file. I'm going to use the same. So as you can see already, we have a HTML header and body area. And I'm going to also add the doc type. Doesn't make a difference, but you can just add it. You can also skip it in H because we are now all the browsers are using something called HTML5. So you can skip the doc type declaration also. It's possible. Sorry, there's no exclamation sign out there. Just skip it. Yeah, this is how it is. So you see doc type. Now you can see, wow, next funda fox. HTML is a tree data structure. Look at here, guys. Look at this. HTML is a tree data structure. Fantastic. Look at that. Are you all clear? HTML is a tree data structure. That's my next funda fox. Data structure पढ़ते थे ना स्कूल में. In college, you've studied data structure, right? What are the types of data structure? Arrays, queues, linked list, doubly linked list, circular linked list, trees, stacks, right? All those are data structures. So what is the data structure of HTML? It's a tree data structure. Very important interview question. When we run the HTML in browser, what tree it produces is also known as, is also a tree and known as DOM, document, object, model. So when you run an HTML, you will also observe that it will produce a tree data structure which is known as DOM. I will show you that in a minute. I will show you that, don't worry. So now come back. So that's your HTML. Now, so you see, WebID is giving you some errors. Okay. It's giving you error. Ignore. Why? Because the WebID tool is not built or not designed to create HTML files. Okay. WebID tool is designed to create UI5 applications. It is not designed to create HTML pages or web applications. No. So with HTML, you can create normal websites. Like if you go to our website, anubhavtrainings.com, this is our website, right? So this website was designed in HTML. It is not a Fiori app. This is a website which we designed in the This is the website which we designed in a normal HTML. Yeah. So this website was designed in normal HTML. We designed it actually. So now WebID tool is not able to understand this .html. That's why it is giving you these errors, which you can ignore. Just ignore. Because WebID is not meant for web development, website development. It is meant for UI5 development. Okay, so that's the reason it's giving you some weird errors which you can ignore and continue. Okay, and that's the reason you will also not have code completion as well as the P3 printer option to format HTML files, which is okay. Okay, now come back. So let's start with the header part. In the header, we'll start with meta tag. Meta tag is all about the metadata. So the first meta tag, so any time you put a meta tag, and if you want to see the syntax of meta tag, you can go to W3C and you can just check the meta tag syntax over here on W3C. So I can just go back and I can search meta tag and I can always search the meta tag over here. So you can search any of the tag information. So you see this is how meta tag looks like. So name content. That's how meta tag looks like. So name content, and there's a character set also. So let's start with meta tag char set. What does the char set does? Char set will tell you what is that this website can support. What all the characters this website can support. Okay, this is what the meta tag will do. So guys, computer don't understand English. Whenever you type alphabet A, computer convert that A to something called a ASCII character, or a hexadecimal character, or a binary, ultimately a binary, which is what hardware understand. So now in computers language, what is the any encoding type? Encoding means when you type alphabet A, what does it encode? So higher the encoding type, more languages it can support, like symbolic languages like Japanese, Chinese, it can support. So that's why we just mark character set, that my website which I'm building here, my web page which I'm building here, is going to support also the UTF-8 character encoding, which means people can come and type Chinese and Japanese also in my website. So that's what this character encoding type we have specified as UTF-8. Now coming to the next property, we have name and content. So we can create multiple meta tag with name and content. So this is how we can add multiple meta tags. So I was mentioning metadata information. Who created this website? Author information. I can say Anubhav Oberoi has created this website. Moving to the next one. After that, let's say I want to know what is the purpose of this website. Okay. What is the purpose? So we'll say description. So when you say description, this was created a demo on HTML. Meta tags are not mandatory. You can skip them if you want, but it's my duty to teach you. You can skip the meta tags also. It's not mandatory. Now coming back, next one, what is the keyword? Keywords for this website. Keywords are nothing but it will tell the search engine whenever a keyword is typed in the search engine, whether this web page is relevant for that or not. For example, a keyword is called UI5 training. That's a keyword. Comma Fiori training. So all the people who build websites, they will actually put keywords like this. So when I go to Google now, and I just go to google.com, and I'll go ahead and search for Fiori training. So watch out. I just go to Google and I say Fiori. You can see these list of keywords. They're all keywords. These are all the things which people are searching. Okay. You see Fiori tutorial, Fiori T-code, Fiori tile, Fiori training online. These are all the keywords of the search engine. More people search for the same thing. That becomes a keyword. So this is a keyword. Fiori training is a keyword. I click on this and now search all the websites on the internet where it has Fiori training as a keyword. All right. That's what system is doing. So now it has searched and it has found, you see our website, online Fiori trainings. That was our old website. Our new one is Anubhav trainings. So anubhavtrainings.com, it has found it. Yeah. So how it happened? Because I have on my website a keyword called Anubhav online Fiori training. This is a keyword in my website. The keyword matches, and the Google is now what is doing? It's just putting my website on the top accordingly. Okay. That's what the system is doing. So with the help of this keyword, the search engines will recognize your web page. Now you see this description, this one. The same thing I did in my website, we can go back and see. So this description, you see, this one, this guy, this is coming because of the description which we put here. So whenever you design a web page, you can put this meta information, which will help search engine to prioritize your website on top. Of course, it's not so easy to bring it on the top of Google, but at least somewhere it will come, but it won't come on top of Google for sure. Naturally, we have a lot more other stuff to bring it on the Google. So right now you just understand the purpose of the meta tag. So this is the meta tag which we put. Now coming down to the body tag, this is where you start writing the code. Now the first tag coming on your screens, guys, is paragraph tag. So paragraph tag is basically to create a paragraph. So now I'll say, or maybe I'll start with heading tags, H1 tag. And I'll say, what is HTML? And then I can put H2 tag, heading 2 tag. What is HTML? H means heading tags. So there are a variety of heading tags. H3, what is HTML? I'm just writing same text. H4, what is HTML, H5, what is HTML, and H6. Up to H6 you have heading tags. So I just put them. I save this and let's execute. So you click on run button and it's gonna run our welcome.html. Oops, it's running some other one because I selected welcome 2020. I should select our project web ID 2. Run. And it's running the old file because I have to go right click, run configuration, and my zoom level is too high. I need to reduce that so that I can see the drop down. Yes. And I switch back to the welcome.html, save and run, please. Yeah, that's what we do. And now you see a beautiful output on your screen, maybe which I will open in another browser window. Makes it easy for me. And voila, you see how it looks. This is your output of heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 in decreasing order. The font size will automatically reduce heading 1 to heading 6. This is how they look like. Now what I can also do is I can just put both of the windows side by side. That's a best way of practicing. So I use window left arrow and window right arrow, and it docks my code on the left and output on the right, and makes it easy for me to make the change on the left and refresh on the right. This is called side by side view. Okay, makes it so easy for you to code here on the left, test on the right, code here on the left, text on the right. So browser not showing H1, right? Why? Because browser understand what H1 means. When somebody write H1, browser know that I have to show a heading. That's why we call it as browser's markup. Okay, HTML is browser's markup language. What you write is what you get. Beautiful. So let me just leave with only H4 tag, or yeah, H4 or H3 tag, for example. I just comment out. So how do you comment out a piece of code in WebID? Use Control-Shift/, and you see the code is commented out. Okay, Control-Shift/. What is a shortcut? You can also type like exclamation hyphen hyphen. So Control-Shift/. This is the shortcut in WebID to comment a block of code. So select the lines and just press Control-Shift/, and it commented out this piece of code. I save it. Don't forget to save. You can hit the save button also, and just come on the right, and you will left out only with one of the title. Awesome. Let's move to the next tag. It's called paragraph tag. Paragraph is just to write a simple paragraph. Yeah. So HTML stands for hypertext markup language. It is used to create static web content. That's what HTML is used to create. It is used to create static web content. You create a very, very static web content. It is browser's markup language. I can just write it, but let's keep it simple. One line. Okay. So that's a paragraph. Let's see how does it look like. What is the shortcut to uncomment? Again, select the same line and again press Control-Shift/. It will uncomment. So ////. You see commenting, uncommenting. Same shortcut. Okay. Okay. Let's save it. Come back on the right and refresh. You will see a beautiful paragraph will pop up. Wow. HTML stands for hypertext markup language. It's used to create static web content. Perfect. Now I want to give highlight to this hypertext markup language, the abbreviation definition. So what you can do is come back and put a tag called bold tag, B tag, and just move your hypertext markup language inside this B tag. B means bold tag. Let's come back, refresh. Wow, you see how it looks, hypertext markup language. And I want to emphasize also this piece of text. I want to emphasize. So come back, no problem, put an emphasize, EM tag, and just move this hypertext markup language inside the EM tag, emphasize tag. Okay, save this, come back and refresh. And now you will see, wow, you see it's little tilted. That's your markup language, hypertext markup language, little tilted. That is how your HTML page markup will look like. Fantastic, everybody. Are you clear? So you see a beautiful nesting of tags here. It's nesting actually. Bold, inside that emphasize, and whatever come last will come out first. Yeah, last in first out. So see, emphasize is ending. So don't mess up this nesting. It has to be proper. Now, I was telling you about HTML is a markup language, and it is a tree data structure. At runtime also it produces a tree. Let's see that how does it running it. Okay, to see the secrets of HTML, press F12 key on your keyboard. F12, F12, F12 in on your keyboard, and just little bit make it up. And this is called browser's developers toolbar. Okay, what did I do? F12 is your best friend actually. इसको अपना दोस्त बना लो. F12 is your best friend. Is called browser's developer toolbar or developer tools. Okay, Chrome developer tools in this case. So it opens this, and now you go to elements. Voila, look at here. This is the runtime structure. You can see complete tree over here. Yeah, you see complete tree over here for your HTML. See paragraph has a bold tag has an emphasize tag. And the moment I selecting an element, it's also highlighting on the UI. You see, it's highlighting on the browser which element I selected. So this is a tree data structure. This is the runtime representation of HTML. Runtime means now we are running it. So at runtime, what is that which is getting displayed? This is the runtime representation of HTML, and this is called DOM. DOM, 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 document object model. This is a runtime representation of HTML. Interview question 100%. What is DOM? The runtime representation of HTML tree structure is called DOM, document object model. Everybody, are you clear? Interview question 100%. What is DOM? Many times you see developers talking to each other saying, DOM mein problem hai. There is a problem in the DOM. There is a problem in the DOM. The DOM is not coming properly. The DOM has an issue, which means they are talking to you about the runtime structure of the HTML over here. Everybody, are you clear? What is DOM? Everyone, this is a very important interview question. What is DOM? In fact, very important for practical purpose of the system. DOM, document object model. Okay, it's just a static representation. We'll take up the question at the end. Kindly note it down in your system. We'll take up them at the end. Okay. Now, there's a very good question here in the chat window. Can we debug the DOM? No. Is HTML a programming language? Is HTML a programming language? No, you cannot debug. You yourself can answer this question. Look at here. It's not a programming language. You cannot debug it. It's not a programming language. Cannot debug the DOM. What you can just do is visualize here. Okay. Now, for example, I can also make changes, and I can say, come here, and this one, what is HTML? I can select, and I can say Anubhav. And you see on the UI it changed. I'll show you some hacking tricks now. Let me go to BBC News. Okay, you go to BBC News. You can mesmerize your colleagues and friends. Let's open the BBC page, home page of BBC News. And now you will find that this is also a DOM. Browser only understand DOM. Browser only understand HTML directly. Now see, there are a lot of news is coming here, which is good. Now what I can do is I can just simply press F12. F12 again, bring my developer tools, Chrome developer tools. And now here I click on this option, this button, select an element on the page and inspect it. I click and I take my mouse pointer on this guy, on this element. I select and it will take me to the position of this element in the DOM. You see, it has taken me to the position of this element in the DOM. And you see, this is exactly what is displayed to the UI. What is printed in the DOM is what you user will see on the UI. This is your body. This is your DOM. Okay. Now watch out. I go back, double click, and I say Anubhav started new batch of SAP UI 5 yesterday. Press enter. Voila, look at that. Anubhav is making news on bbc.com on the entire planet Earth. Look at here, see? Fantastic. This is the power of the DOM. What you write is what you get. That's the power of the DOM. Document Object Model, guys. DOM. Look at here. Clear, everybody? But did it change for everybody on this earth? No. It is just changed the static web page which is loaded in my machine in my browser. On next refresh, it reloads the page from the server, and then you will get your existing news again. It won't change the data on the server side from where this page is loading. That is not changed. Only it is changing the things which are there in my local machine. Okay, my local DOM, it has changed when I went ahead and do that. That's a quick hacking tips. You can go and make fool of your colleagues easily by just changing little bit of things on the website on the DOM and make them fool easily. Yeah, that's the power of the DOM, document object model. Clear, everybody? So that was about paragraph tag. Let's move on to the next tag. It's called anchor tag. We're going to go a little bit faster now. So in the anchor tag now, we just put it. And anchor is basically a link. So I say click here. Yeah, I just say click here. And now watch out, what do we get? So we're going to refresh and you're going to get a click here. But when I click, nothing happens. Why? Why? When I click, nothing is happening. Why, guys? Why? Guys, let me tell you the most important funda fox of entire course. This is the funda fox most important for entire course, my friends. Entire course. There is nothing like magic. Yes. There is nothing like magic. This is the funda fox of entire course, which you should never, ever forget. Most of my questions will be answered with this funda fox. There is nothing like magic. You did not tell the system which URL it has to open on click. System cannot do by itself. There is nothing like magic. So how do we tell the system where to take when user click on the button? And that's a property called href, HTTP reference. And now you can put here HTTPS anubhavtrainings.com. Save this. Come back on the right side, refresh, and watch out. Now it is becoming clickable. Let's click on this and see the magic. I clicked it already and voila, it's taking us to anubhavtrainings.com. Everybody, are you clear? Everyone in the room, are you clear what's happening here? Yeah. How to make an element clickable, which property we give. Now moving on to the next tag, I'm going to put an image tag, img image tag. Okay, you can put the width and height of an image. Yeah, you can do that, but we will do that later. Now let's put an image here, img tag, and I can come back and refresh, and you will see an image won't come up, of course, because now again, nothing like magic. You have to give the source of the image, and that's a src property. And now I have to give the address of the image. So what we'll do is we just double click on the page. It opens the project explorer again. And now I'm going to create a folder in my project called images. Under this, now I will upload a new image. So import from file system. I'm going to import an image from my computer. So I go to browse and I'll straight away go to the images in my computer. And I have lots of images on my computer, as you can see, and I will use this image called Kalpana. So let me copy this. Kalpana means imagination. Okay, let's copy that and say, okay. So I've imported an image over here in my computer, from my computer to my web IDE folder. images folder. You can keep it directly also, but I want to group things properly. So that's why I created a folder. Now I come back and I just give the address images folder slash kalpana.jpg. Save this up and now watch out what happens on the UI. I can come back and refresh the page. Watch out. Wow, fantastic. Look at that. Dreams are forever, guys. Dreams are forever. That's the image coming on my screen in the browser. Fantastic. But it's taking lots of space on the page. I don't want it to take the entire space as the size of the image is quite big. We want to reduce it to little smaller size. So we can do that with the width property and with the height property. So now we can say 250 pixels height and 250 pixels width. I just save this up, come back, refresh and watch out. Wow, there you go. You can see how does it look like. That's our image. Superb. Now, can we make a clickable image? Any guesses? Guys, there is nobody who's going to judge you here. You can be free to answer your questions, answer things in the chat window. Nobody will judge you. We all are at equal level. What do you think? Can we make a clickable image? Is it possible? What do you think? What does your developer mind says? What can we do to make it clickable image? What do you think? What can make a clickable? We need to do nesting. Exactly. We will make anchor and image nesting. Watch out. How do we do that? Just move this or maybe create a new anchor inside this image. Okay. Surround your image around with an anchor. So I create a new anchor, href tag, and I will say, again, take me to some website, https://anubhavtrainings.com. And I will want to take it to SAP technical training page. That's the page I want to take. That's my anchor tag. Yeah, that's our anchor tag. So now what I'll do is I will just take this anchor tag and I'm going to take our image, cut from here and put it inside the anchor tag. So we are surrounding our image with an anchor. We're doing nesting. I'm going to save this, come back and refresh, and now watch out. Watch out, guys, watch out. When you come back and refresh, you see now it's getting a hotspot on the image. Are we ready to click? Yes. Let's click on the image and tan-tan-tan, it's taking me to the SAP technical training page on anubhavtrainings.com. Fabulous. Look at that, guys, how we have reached to the page here directly to SAP trainings on click of that image. That's the beauty of HTML5. Yeah, that's the beauty of nesting two tags together. Okay, that's the beauty. So many times on internet, share this image with the 10 people, a good news will come to you, right? If you don't share this photo, some bad luck will hit you. And you get simply start doing, sharing all the day. What you do is share. Yeah. Share this photo. You will get good money tonight. You get a good news and you just thinking, okay, my life sucks. I really need to do something. Let's share this image. What will happen? Maybe it's okay. Let's see. Maybe by evening I get a good news. Nothing happens. Sharing those images just is a waste of time. You got to go. Build a page on UI5, build a page on HTML. That's what's going to change your life. That's what's going to get you the good luck. That's what's going to get you everything what you expect. That's what's going to take you next step towards your dream. It's not going to be just sharing with that one image on social media. That's just a waste of time. Understand that. Okay. Now, how can we make dynamic sizing for mobile? Heavy dose of antibiotic. We'll cover that later. Okay, let's come back. So that was about creating the anchor tag. Now moving to the next tag, very popular, input tag. Now guys, another difference between HTML and HTML5 coming on your screen. Another difference between HTML and HTML5 coming on your screen. The difference is HTML5 now with HTML5, it is not mandatory to put end tags for certain elements like IMG. input, etc. So some of these tags, now it is not mandatory to put an ending tag. You see, I come back and show you this img tag. We didn't put an ending tag. We didn't put it. Yeah, still works. But surprisingly, if I put an ending tag, it will give me an error. You see, it says this is ignored. You had put it extra. This will be ignored, boss. So that's very, very important. Just save this up. This is what img tag is all about. Clear, everybody? So it's not mandatory. For input also, you don't have to put an ending tag. It's not mandatory. In fact, when you put, it will give you kind of ignorance. Yeah, it will ignore it. So that's another difference. In the past, we have to put ending tag for every single tag. But now this is making it easy with HTML5. Okay, input tag. Now, another benefit with HTML5 brings is there are variety of input tag types are introduced. Okay, variety of input tag types are introduced. We will see them. So first, let's see a normal input tag, and I'll just create a label. This is, let's say, enter your name. Just save this, come back, and I'm gonna go back and refresh. Watch out. Wow, you see, enter your name. And now here you have a box, text box, where you can write something. Yeah. So this is how you can write an input tag. But that's a simple one. We have got variety of tags, actually. Variety of them. Okay, so let me show you them. So I come back here for the input tag, and I'll create variety of them. So let me just create first one, input. And you can use type property. And I can say now it has a number. Okay. And now next one comes is input with a type property, and you can say email. Yes, guys. Then you can have input, then you can have a type, and you can have date. Then you can have input, and you can have a type, and you can say color. So like this, variety of input tags are introduced. I'm going to save this, come back and refresh and show you what do we get. Let's dock side by side, makes it easy. And now you see this is your name. This is one is number. So you see you get this up and down arrow with the number naturally. Then you get here this email address, and now this is the calendar. I click. See how beautiful it looks. Yeah, superb, amazing. Look at that color one. Wow, fantastic. So these are the different variety of elements, variety of things which are introduced with HTML5. Before that, it was not there. So now it makes it easy for you to work with the elements pretty faster. Nobody can enter character inside this number. You can also make minimum and maximum number size. So you can say minimum is 5 and maximum which is allowed is, let's say, 10. It will automatically adjust the size of the field also. Let me refresh. And you will see now the field size will be adjusted. Here you see this number because we are only accepting a max 2 digit. So now if I say plus, it will start with 5, 6, 7, 8 and more up about 10 it doesn't go. Below 5 it doesn't go. Yeah, that's the beauty. And you can also use max length to specify how much is the maximum length of email ID or the size is permitted. You can also use the width property to control the size of the field. So these are all some properties you can use. So maybe just for the name, if I want to show you for name field, I can come back and put a width property. And I can say width is, let's say, 300 pixels. And watch out, this one is the name one. Refresh. And I'll see the width of this name guy will change to 300 pixels. Yeah, so it's already 300 pixels. So maybe we can make it 100 pixels. So this is how you can change the width and height of the property. It's not changing. I have to cross check why it's not changing. Width property. Okay. Maybe we can have to give the size. I'm not sure. I think it's width only. But this cannot be width. Width is not a drag property. We have to use something called CSS, which we'll cover in the next chapter. That is the time you will be able to reduce the width yourself. So that was about input tag. There's a special type of input tag, which I want to mention, especially here, input tag with a type called submit. Okay. What it does, it brings you a button on the UI. I'm going to come back, refresh, and now you will see the button. Now, guys, there's one question here. Where can I see all the types of input? Where can I see all the types of input which are supported in entire HTML? Who will answer this question? Where can I go and see all the types? Perfect answer. Banu has got fastest answer. Exactly. W3C school is where you can check all the types, all the properties, all the different tag names on W3C. Fantastic answer. You guys are getting up faster. Cool. Cool, guys. Cool. So now you see, and again, I'm repeating, whatever I'm covering is more than sufficient. It's your choice. You want to learn next round W3C. If you practice whatever I'm covering, more than sufficient. More than sufficient. Okay. Now, let's also talk about another tag called list tag. The first one comes is ordered list, OL tag. And this contains list items. So we'll put a list item. Li tag. Yeah. So like this, we can put multiple list items under the ordered list. Ordered list, let's say apple, and I'll say banana, and I'll say mango. So I just want to create and save this. This is an ordered list with 3 list items. Watch out, come back on the right and refresh. And you see it looks like this: apple, banana, mango. There's another one called unordered list called UL tag. Again, this contains list items. Each item is represented with a LI tag, list item tag. You can create as many as you want. Yeah. So list item. And now I can say UI5 and Fiori. And I'll say S4 HANA. And I'll say Launchpad. And I say SAP Cloud Integration. I'm going to save this, come back and refresh. So you see this is an unordered list will pop up. You see this is an unordered list. Exercise for all of you. Exercise. Let me go back and give an exercise. What is an exercise? Let's give an exercise. Exercise. This is class number 303. So you all know it should be 03 underscore your name underscore your exercise name. So what do you need to do? Design an unordered list with clickable list item. Items are SAP UI5 and Fiori, ABAP on HANA, SAP Fiori Security, SAP Cloud Integration, SAP WebDyn Pro, or maybe just put it here, S4 HANA Cloud. So what you need to do, you need to design these 5 list items as a clickable. Clickable means link. And when I click on this UI5, it should take you to the my UI5 video. Where is my UI5 video on YouTube? You can also go to our website, anubhavtrainings.com, and there you will anyway find all the video of each of the course. So just mention the course name and make it an anchor. So whenever user click on UI5, it should take me to the YouTube video of our SAP UI5 demo. That's what it should. Okay. It should take us to the YouTube demo of SAP UI5. So you can see all the YouTube demos over here. They will appear in a minute. It's still loading. So you see, yeah. So now for UI5, it should take you to the YouTube video. For Fiori security, it should take you to this YouTube video. So that's what the system should do. I hope this exercise is clear, everybody. The requirement is clear. Design an unordered list with clickable list items. When you click, it will take you to YouTube to that particular video. And I think I've already taught you how to make a clickable element. You have to just take to the YouTube video. YouTube video URL, you can anyway easily get it from our website directly. So on our website, you can just right click and say copy, copy this, right? Right click and you can simply copy URL option so that it will take you to the YouTube video. That's what you can actually do it. So here you see this this page. So you can just simply right click on this YouTube video and say copy video URL, and then it will take you to the give you the link for that YouTube video. So let me just show you. So we have all the videos for these different modules. So you can go to each of this module which I mentioned here and make them clickable. And when you click, it should take me to that YouTube video directly. That's what you have to complete. Everybody, are you clear? That's what we have to achieve. So that's about the exercise for today. Now, before we close, let me explain you client-server architecture. Or basically, how does the internet works? How are we using the systems? So when it comes to client-server architecture, as the name suggests, client and server. So let me add some client-server kind of. So client is you as a user of internet who is using a browser in their computer or mobile. So that's what a client is all about. It's a computer or a browser running. So that's a client. Okay. So I just go and search for client, or maybe I just search for computer. And I can maybe just put this guy as a client, and I can put this guy as a server, or this guy as a server. So this is also a client. So insert. So that is going to be a client-server architecture. So this is a computer, a client, and this is a server on the internet. So these are all the clients, hundreds and thousands and millions of users of the internet. They are the client, and this is the server. So ultimately, you see this user opens a browser to type www.facebook.com, and that's where the Facebook server is on the right side, which will respond to this this client. Yeah. So what is happening behind the scene? What is happening in this middle area? Yeah. So let's understand that. This is called client-server architecture. So this is client, this is server. Client means you. Just sitting on the browser. When you open browser, type www.anubhavtrainings.com, you are a client. And we have a server which is placed on the internet, which is responsible to respond to you. That is your server, client-server architecture. So now what is happening is, when I call a website, so computers do not understand www.facebook.com. What computer or the internet understand is the IP address. IP address. So it will be something like 192.168.93.62, something like this, right? So that's the address of this server. But we don't, as a human, we cannot remember these addresses, right? We are humans. We cannot remember long numbers. We can remember texts as a human tendency. So what people does is, they will have something called a DNS server. Okay. DNS. What is DNS? Domain name server. It is actually a server which does a mapping between IP address and the actual IP address with the domain name. Yeah, that's what DNS does. So whenever you are having internet connection, let's say in India we have Airtel, we have Jio, Vodafone, they are the ISP, internet service providers. So whenever you buy an internet connection, you are actually getting a connectivity to this DNS and this server. So internet is nothing but is a mash. It's a collection of billions of software, billions of computers connected together. That's what internet. So whenever you say type facebook.com, the call goes to this internet service provider. Let's say Jio. Yeah. Let's say Reliance Jio. It goes there. And now what it does is, it is going to send a call to the DNS. It's going to query the directory. It's a directory. So this directory is kept on the internet, which this ISP can only talk to. And then what it does, it finds out what is the actual address of this website. And then it establishes a connection, secure connection to this website. So that is how internet behind the scene works. Now, once this connection established, the client now know the address. So client can directly communicate. It doesn't have to all the time go to DNS. But yet still you need ISP, internet service provider, or an internet connection to talk to this server, because you have to send a request. So this is why it's also known as request response protocol. So you will make a request. The server will then, that side is sitting, it will sense the request, it will accept the request, it will do whatever it intend to do. For example, you type facebook.com, give your user ID, password. Now server has to check in Facebook database, is there any guy with this profile with the correct username password he had typed. So first it validates is the correct username password. If yes, then it will retrieve your profile information. It will create an HTML page, and that HTML page will be sent to your browser as a response. Okay. So this is a response and it will be an HTML page. And now browser directly understand HTML. So the browser will show you the the beautiful Facebook page profile of yours. It will show you. So this is how it works. Request response architecture or client server architecture. Everybody, are you clear how does the client server architecture works? This is also known as request response architecture. This is how all web applications in modern world are working. That is how they are communicating. Okay, so there is no session which is created on the server side. It's just every time a fresh request, fresh response, request, response, request, response. That's how your internet works. The next time you use google.com, just imagine in your mind, google.com, when you type, it is sending a request and then Google respond back an HTML page, which is what you get on your beautiful screen. Now, what are all the types of request which we have? Yeah, very important interview question. Types of HTTP requests. I'm going to tell you there are many, but I'm going to tell you the most important one: get request, post request, delete request, and update request, or called put request, put and delete. Okay. So get, post, put, and delete. These are the four types. Get is used to read the data from server. Like this was a get one. When you type facebook.com, it was a get request. It loads a Facebook initial page. Now you enter your credential, username, password. That one will be a post request. It's to basically create or send data to server. That's a post request actually. Okay. Then comes this put request to update data. Suppose you went inside your profile and uploaded a new photo. Yeah. So that's a put request. You're updating your profile. Delete request to remove data from server. These are all the top types of request in HTTP protocol. Never, ever, ever forget these types, guys. They are extremely important. Get, put, post, delete. We together call them as create, read, update, delete. So we call them CRD operation or crude operation. Yeah. So create, read, update, and delete. These are all the operations which we typically support. Usually, whenever we build an application, we perform. Somebody will come and say, "Can you support crude?" Okay. Can you support all the CRD operations, crude operations? Can you support that? Which means they are telling you to support all the get, put, post, delete to allow you to talk to the server, send the data from your application, create, read, update, and delete data in your application. That's what they're asking you to do. That's called client server architecture. These are all the types of request. Now, every request composed of something called a header and a body. Okay. It is consist of a header and a body, not HTML header body. This is different. Okay. So this also consists of header and body, and the response also consists of header and body. Okay. That is how the request response works. In the header, you will have information like what is the data type we are sending, what is the address of the server. You can always check these requests and responses in the browser's F12. Okay, let me come back and show you. So you can always do that. So whenever you load any website, so I can come back in F12. Okay, and now on any website actually, whenever you go, so maybe just why it's stuck, I don't know. My browser itself is stuck. I have to just cross check that. So whenever you're sending a call to any website, what's basically happening is system is allowing you to make a request, and that request you can actually check it on the browser F12 actually, the developer toolbar which I was showing you. There you can check that request. Okay. Looks like my browser is hanging. So in the F12, maybe I will show you that next tomorrow's class, how can you monitor those requests. Now, interestingly, one more last thing here. So whenever you make a request, you can always check them in the network call for sure. But at the same time, how can you make the request from client side? What are all the ways by which you can make a request? So there are top 3 ways. The first way to make a request is called form submit. What is it called? Form submit. The second way to make the request is known as using HTTP object. And the third is called AJAX call. Right now, don't panic. Don't overthink on these things, but just understand these are all the 3 ways by which you can make a request from the client, from the browser. So we will see the first one in next class, and then remaining one we will see little later as and when we progress further to the UI5. One more important thing, last thing I want to say here to all of you, our purpose is to become a UI5 and Fiori developer. This is not a course for website development. So that is the main reason we don't need to go deeper into these concepts of website development. You need to understand the purpose. If you want to learn how to build a website, then there is a separate course for that. That's another 50 hour where we dedicatedly focus only on HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, REST, Bootstrap framework, theming experiences, all these W3C related detailed stuff we will practice. This HTML itself, it will take 10 classes minimum to look at every possible combination and control in HTML. But understand our purpose. Our purpose is to become a UI5 Fiori developer, and I hope this is the same expectation all of you will have from me. Keeping that purpose in mind, it is more than sufficient to look at whatever I am covering. If you practice this much with exercise, done. We will get going. Okay. Now, there's also a question which we started. What is the difference between UI5 and HTML5? Let's put 2 of the answers right away here. Let me ask you guys, you can be vulnerable and there's nobody's going to judge here. Please think and tell me, can you make out some difference? At least now you have some understanding of UI5 from demo session, and you have some understanding of HTML5 from today's session. Can you make at least one difference here between HTML5 and UI5? At least one difference I'm expecting. Let's see who can answer. Let's see who can answer. We don't judge you. You can answer. UI5 is a framework. Wow, what an answer. Shri Krishnan, thank you so much. UI5 is a framework, which is nothing but collection of libraries. Wow, Shri Krishnan. Perfect answer. And HTML5 is a markup. Superb, guys. Superb. Amazing. Next one. UI5 versions are managed by कौन बताएगा? Who manages SAP UI5? Oh, I myself answered it's SAP, but the HTML versions are managed by, who is the organization managed? Perfect. Very good, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your answers. At least 2 of these answers we will explore a little more as and when we progress further. At least 2 of the major differences. I hope it's clear to everybody. We didn't enter in UI5 yet. So with our current capacity of knowledge which we gained, this is what we can probably think of as of now. Of course, as and when we progress further, there will be a lot to come. Okay. There will be a lot to come. You will understand things very well. I hope this speed and this flow is correct and you guys are able to grasp the second session. With that, I'm done with today's class. Time for your questions. You can put them in chat window or you can unmute your line and ask one by one, please. Go ahead.
Hi, Nawab.
Hi.
Can you please explain once DOM? And when I say explain, in the sense like when you were in the website and you were browsing, how can I check like my DOM is working or not?
So if your website is loading fine, it itself is a proof that your DOM is working. Okay. So DOM is nothing but the runtime representation of HTML. Okay. That's what the DOM is all about. It's a runtime representation of HTML. That's what exactly the entire DOM is all about. So whenever you go to any website, you can check its DOM pretty easily. It's straightforward. It's very, very straightforward. So if you open any website, you can simply go to F12 and check its DOM. It's like it's working, not working. If your website is not loading, okay, if your website is not loading, which means the DOM is not working. And there's nothing like debugging here because it's a markup. Okay. So what you do is come to any website, like in this case, I come to BBC and I press F12. Just press F12. Okay. And that opens up Gentleman here, where you can see the elements. And now you see this is the DOM for BBC. This is the DOM for BBC website. Even you can go to google.com, you find its DOM. So just go to google.com. And I was telling you network calls, so you can always check network calls. See, these are all the calls your browser silently making to the Google server. So whenever you type google.com, press enter, all the calls which are going from the browser to the Google server are displayed here. You see, it's making a call. These are all requests. So you see request, this is a request header and response, request, response, request, response, request, response. You can check request response in network tab. Now coming to the elements, you see this is the DOM for Google. Now I want to know that where is this particular field? This field is there, right? So select and I just highlight this field. So click on this arrow button and highlight this field. It will take you to the position of the field in the DOM. This is the position of that field in the Google's website. This is the position. You can do one thing. I can just come back and right click and delete. Hide element or delete element here. And you see that field will disappear. Actually, it's this complete field is represented by this guy. This guy. You see the DOM. It's a tree structure actually. I'm going to right click and say delete. And voila, you see, you made the Google's search field disappear. See? Just by changing the DOM. So that's how you can play with the DOM at runtime into the element section of the page. Okay, always. Of course, next refresh, it will bring it again. It won't never change the server. Next request, again, you make a request. It will reload the page from the server. So whatever state is there on the Google server, and you can't change the server state at all. That is not in our control. We can only change the DOM, which is displayed on our browser. Okay. When we click on F12, all the metadata content is showed in the body instead of header section. Is there any reason? I don't think so that happened. Let me go to our page. Okay, let's open the web ID and open our page again. So that will never happen. Meta will never come the body. DOM is basically complete document it is displaying to you. It's not just displaying you the body or only the header. It's display the complete DOM. Whole thing is complete DOM actually. Let me run that. And I'll show you once again the DOM. So let's open the DOM. You can also see the DOM in complete page by right click on the page and say view page source. Okay. View page source. That also show you the DOM. So you see, it's inside the header only. No way. Meta will never go in body. Maybe just a confusion for you. So just go back and check, right click, or you can say inspect also. It will also open F12 automatically. Multiple ways of doing same thing. And now you see the meta is still coming, the doc type, and this meta is the header section. And then below you have the body section. Okay. This is your body section. And you see this is your header section. I don't know why it is showing it here. Yes, you are right. It's showing it here in the doc type HTML, but still the body is separate actually. Okay, I don't know why the browser is rendering like this, our page. Ideally, the meta should be in the body. You are right. I didn't observe that. Ideally, it should come separately. Like if you go to google.com, you will find it separate. I don't know. Maybe they've changed the rendering for this page. I'm not sure if the Google browser is changing this, but at least remember, you should always follow best practice, and which says that it will always come in the body. A header and body should be separate. Okay, cool. Now, with that, it's a wrap on today's class. I hope you will submit your assignments in next 12
I
hours
have a
every.
question.
Yes, please.
In every time when we refresh it, it will like DNS will connect the IP address to domain. But if we don't refresh, then it will be like in the client server architecture, right?
Mhm. Yes, exactly. If you don't refresh, you can have that page as it is always. Always. So
Okay.
next time it will go request server. Server will produce prepare the response. It will do the processing basically here. You see this processing is happening, and then finally the response is sent to you. So client server
Okay.
architecture, very simple request response. So it's
No,
just
what
like
my
I say
question
something.
was, I'm sorry, my question was only for the first time the DNS will act in connecting the client server, right? That's the question.
Yes. And after that, what browser does is see, first time it found out what is the address. What is the address? This number, this address. This address will also be sent in the header back to the client. And what client will do, client is running a browser and browser will store it as a cookie. If you heard about cookie. So in the cookie, it will store, that's a small storage in the browser. So cookie will store this IP address. So next time to save the performance, it doesn't have to go to DNS again and again. Does not. Only first time, once it got the IP address, it will stay connected to that IP. Request response will happen to that IP address only.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
But quick question.
Yes, please.
Where do we need to submit our assignments? I'm sorry, I missed the first class, so not sure.
Okay. So what we need to do, just a quick repeat. Your assignment when you create a project, you export the project from the web ID. So today's project will also share with you guys. So this one will be downloaded and it will be exported and you will get this project today with class numbers. Today class number is 03. So 03 web ID is something you will get some name. But similarly you have to do. So today's assignment is 03 underscore your name. Suppose your name is Bala. So you can say Bala underscore and then you can put the topic name. So today's topic was mainly HTML, so list control, which I asked you to list, clickable list. So you can submit with this dot zip. So this way, even there are two Balas in my class, they both will have two different project names, or two people, they will never have a name conflict. So your name is coming, and this way I'll also know who has submitted the exercise properly. So and all the exercises when you submit, they will be uploaded in training blog also, so others can see your exercise. So before coming to me when you're stuck, please check what others have done. Please check. Put some effort from your side. Remember, God will only help people who help themselves. Please help yourself. I want you to become self-dependent, and that habit of becoming self-dependent starts from this training. Very important. Without self
There is
development,
a
without self effort, it will be very difficult. Those who have joined the class today, missed yesterday's class, just let me tell you, you can go to the training blog. This was already sent in a subscription email. You all have access. And the yesterday's class recording was already made available here. You can always go and check the recording here. Even you join, not join, miss, the recordings will every day come after 4 hours of the class. After 4 hours. Yeah, they will keep coming here, and complimentary oops above, which I promise, they are already kept here. Whenever you want, you can learn it. Whenever you get time, you can learn it. Otherwise, you can right now park these sessions, but at least these session you daily conducting session, you daily go through them. Okay, please go through. You spend some quality time. You have trusted me, I trust you. You will be doing hard work. I will never leave your hand. We together make it a big change for your career in coming 40 days. 40 दिन के लिए सब भूल जाओ, मेहनत करो जम लगा के, और देखना रिजल्ट आपके कदमों में आएगा. Success will be in your legs. Trust me, this will be happening for some of them. For sure, I can challenge and guarantee it has happened in the past. Many success stories, as I showed you. It will happen, but what it needs is a dedication, hard work, commitment, and persistence. These four elements, you put it, trust me, success will be yours. It is impossible that result won't come. It will come for sure. Nobody can stop you. You are unstoppable after that. But you have to take this pain of learning things, of doing exercises, of trying out every single thing which I teach in the class. Anyone
So,
else?
Anubhav,
Yes,
actually,
Babat.
one question is that regarding the response. Suppose you say that while sending the second time and request, it will be checked with the cookies. But sometime if it is the IP address, there is some web page it changed. So that time I need to be refresh the cookies. It clear the cookies or how?
And then it will again go via the DNS, identify the IP address, and it will again give you a logon page. Have you ever observed you log in on Facebook, and then next time you just close the Facebook, come back again, it will automatically take you to the profile. Why? Because cookie is stored. And when you delete your cookies, go back, it will reload the Facebook home page again, ask you to enter the username password. So that's what happening. System is having this small memory called cookie in the browser, which stores this information to speed up your access, to make you authenticated every time. But once you clear the cookie, system has to do that processing all over again to produce the right cookie. How many DNS are there? Who owns them? DNS is owned by the domain name servers. They are owned by domain name provider. For example, you want to buy a website for yourself, your own domain. Let's say I want to buy a domain called Bala the Great. Okay, so Bala the Great, for example. So what I have to do is I have to pay to somebody to buy this domain. And there are a lot of domain name providers like GoDaddy.com you might have heard about. Yeah, GoDaddy.com. So they are one domain name provider. Google also provide like domain.google.com when you go. They also provide bigrock.com, wix.com. There are a lot of these. There are abundance of domain name providers. So they are the people who host the domain name servers. So you see Bala the Great, if I search for this domain, is it available? You can get to know here directly. And then you can purchase it. It's as cheaper as like $10 or $11. You see, just $11 for a year. It's so cheaper to buy a domain, you know. So you see, Bala the Great is available, and this will cost me just $12 for an year, for the first year, you see. Some people, you know, they just do this business. They book a domain, they keep it like it's very cheaper, and they store them like 50, 60 domain. They buy every year, they pay renew. When a big customer comes, let's say some company want to start now a website, and they are looking for exactly that domain. Yeah, they're looking exactly that domain. Then what will happen? Then they will come to you, hey, this domain you have purchased long back, we want to rebuy from you. Can you resell it to us? And then you can charge a mota amount, a very big amount. This is the business people are doing actually. So today, every domain is having a worth. For example, Amazon.com. It's very precious now. If Amazon tomorrow, Jeff Bezos decides to sell the Amazon.com domain itself, the worth of that is huge. You see these big companies like Swiggy, Zomato, they are not making profit, but their brand value is huge. Tomorrow, if Swiggy decides to sell off their domain itself, it will cost maybe millions of dollars. It will be millions of dollars he will be just making to sell his domain. Yeah. That is what is happening in industry. Even though some businesses and startups are in loss, but their name itself, their domain name is itself very popular across the colleagues, across the world. It's also coming good in ranking in Google. So that it increases the overall worth of that company. Anubhav Training's domain is also very, very worthy now because that we are attracting a lot of traffic from Google. We have, even though I'll not make a profit tomorrow, I start to decide to sell my domain, I will be making millions of dollars. But I don't want to sell it. It's my bread and butter. Why would I do that? Like this, in the past, I've done many startups where I just booked some domains and I sold them in a very good amount. But then you got to maintain them. You got to keep paying the subscription fee, keep checking people who are bidding for your domain. It's a very big, altogether a different world actually. I don't want to go there because our purpose, please understand, our purpose is to learn UI5 and Fiori. There can be 2,000, 100,000 more topics I can talk about. I can give you a complete lecture on search engine optimization, how to top your website, how to rank your videos. I can do all that social media marketing tips. I can have a conduct full social media certification course, but that's not our goal and purpose. So I understand you want to know everything, but these things are out of context. They will not help you to learn UI5. That's the reason many a times I may not want to go deeper on these things. And you don't need to. You don't need to understand who's DNS, how does it happen. This is just a basic functionality you need to understand. The main part is request response. If you understand that, done. That done. With that, it's a wrap on today's class. Thank you so much once again joining. All of you are phenomenal. Catch you up tomorrow in the next session. Have a nice day. Goodbye.